Hey, what's going on, guys? Roniboney here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Weapons Grade with Roniboney.
So we're going to be talking about just a discussion on things that we think need to happen with Halo for the future. Just a general Halo discussion from people that I guess don't really like the new direction of Halo. So I'll let you get started, man.
And I just wanted to say it's a pleasure to talk to you. We've been planning this for a while, and we finally got around to doing it. I'm busy, he's busy, so let's get to it.
That's it.
So I wanted to start it off with Spartan abilities. I know it's very controversial. So my topic stems for you around Spartan abilities. How do you feel about them? Because I know many people have varying opinions on the subject. So I think it's important that we iron things out. What do you think of Spartan abilities? What do you think of Sprint? And just in general, how do you think Halo 6 should go about doing it?
Well, I've made it a point to say that I think if Halo 6 continues down this road entirely with just the Spartan abilities and sprint gameplay, that they're gonna really do a lot more damage than they think. That they can't really grow the community more than they already have or haven't. So I think that if they continue down this road with the Spartan abilities and sprints, that it's gonna really damage the franchise. And I don't want to see Halo I don't want to see it end. I may not like the new games, but I don't want to see it end. So
I personally agree with you. I feel as though if we get another Halo game of that caliber where there's enhanced mobility and sprint and ground pound, shoulder charge, all that nonsense that I really don't like, I really think Halo's going to be in trouble. And from Reach onward, things have not been the same. If you look out there, populations have been decreasing from Reach to Halo 4 and even Halo 5. Nothing is really doing as good as it should be, and I think that's a problem. And I think that if Halo 6 proceeds to go in that direction, then it'll only continue to do worse.
I agree. And the common theme there is sprint. Like, people try and say that sprint does nothing to Halo, but sprint changes everything. Like, look at Halo Online. I know a lot of people haven't tried Halo Online out, but there's a mod, the El Dorito mod, and in that mod some of the servers have sprint enabled, and it's basically it's a newer version of Halo with a projectile, not a projectile battle rifle, a hit scan battle rifle with sprint on Halo 3 maps, and it completely changes how the game is played. So when I see people say it's just a movement mechanic, yes, it is a movement mechanic that changes everything.
Right, it's way more. I always looked at the golden Halo triangle. I love pulling that up. Because it's actually real. Like, it's not something I just weapons, melee, grenade. No, it's actually what Bungie used to create the first 3 Halo games. It's the design philosophy of Halo's gameplay, and I really like that. And I find that it's really frustrating when 343 just say to hell with that and build off of. They just go in their own direction, creating something from thin air. So, I say, hey, they should try to but build onto the golden Halo triangle. They should, try to make a Halo game of that caliber and see how that does. Because really, I mean, some people would say, oh, Halo's too slow, it wouldn't do good if they took out sprint. Well, there's really nothing that backs that up.
And everything points to the to the complete opposite. Like, look at Halo 2 and 3. Like, somebody telling me that those were slow. I mean, maybe you couldn't sprint or whatever, you couldn't thruster or ground pound, but like, the thing about Halo is it's not meant to be fast-paced shooting gameplay. It's the fast-paced aspect of Halo happens in your mind with your decision making, and that's what defined the game. And I don't see that anymore. It's like someone who's for lack of a better word, worse at the game than me can kill me in Halo 5 because they Spartan charge around a corner, and now instead of them making a fatal mistake that I can pick up on, they've just made this into a 50-50 battle, and I don't like that. I think it breaks balance.
Correct. And building off of the triangle that I mentioned about, Bungie actually, they instead of sprint, they made other ways for players to get around the maps. And I did this in my proof why sprint shouldn't be in Halo video. I did that about 8 months ago, and I'm actually doing part 2 to that because I feel like I could have explained it a lot better. I think I'm growing as a content creator, and I'm starting to explain things better. I'm starting to learn a few tricks with editing and stuff like that. So anyways, But basically, one of the people at Bungie, I forget his name, but there's a video of him talking about movement and, you know, how they decided to make mechanics in Halos 1 through 3. And he talked about how, okay, in Halos 1 and 2, we had teleporters to help, basically help players get around. Yeah. And then in Halo 3, they said, hey, how can we build onto that? We can use man cannons. And, you know, that basically puts players in the proximity of shooting each other. You know, I look at Sprint in a sense is just, how can I bridge the gap between me and my enemy to get into a certain proximity to where I can actually shoot them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with Halos 1 through 3, you know, they had man cannons, teleporters, you know, that would actually help and put you in proximity and shooting towards, you know, another person.
Yeah.
And I really think, and those mechanics, you know, the man cannons and the teleporters didn't hurt the triangle. You know, you could melee shooting grenade was still there,
and I think still kept it distinctive as well. Like, right. Everyone knew Halo had like teleporters and, you know, lifts and things like that, like in Construct.
Yeah. Now Halo 5 doesn't have any of that, and except in Forge mode, of course. You know, the base maps. I'm struggling to think of a map that actually had or has teleporters and man cannons in it. You
There's
know,
a few big team battle ones, but apart from that,
big team battle. Like, but you know,
arena maps like need.
Yeah, none. In my opinion, they feel like Call of Duty maps.
Yeah, no, they are. Like, it's it's so I mean, it's such a Twitch shooter. Halo 5 is, and I know a lot of people enjoy that, and a lot of people try and debate that, but the kill times are so fast that when I see people say that Halo 5 feels like a natural evolution of Halo 2, I just think to myself, have you played Halo 2 and have you played Halo 5? Because these games they're vastly different in everything, in their feel, in their art style. It's you know, in their communities, in their ranking. You know, the ranking system's a huge thing, but we'll get to that, I guess. But.
Yeah, and one other thing I just wanted to say about Sprint, specifically Sprint. You know, when you're sprinting, I think it separates the gameplay. I've said this before in my Sprint video, and you know, people like Faven have said this.
Yep.
You know, it separates the two styles. There's a style of gameplay where you're actually sprinting and running around. Then there's the other style of gameplay where you're actually have your gun up and you're shooting people. And Halo is meant to be with one style, and that style where you always have your gun up and you're always able to move. And I really think that's important when making a Halo game.
It totally is. Yeah.
So
I wanted to bring up like Halo 3 Anniversary to you and talk about that, and as a kind of a side topic to that, like Halo 6 hype and optimism when we literally know nothing about Halo 6. So like my whole thing with Halo 3 Anniversary is I see a lot of people, and I think there's a lot of damaging opinions going on out there on YouTube with YouTubers kind of saying that they don't want it or that we don't need it, and that Master Chief Collection is a place for the classic fans to really just collect themselves to. And it's not. It really isn't. It so isn't. Like, Sketch even said in some of his community updates, and I do think that Sketch, to his credit, things have started happening at 343 since Sketch came on board. Like the Monitor's Bounty update, the server browser I did loads of videos on saying that Halo needs a goddamn server browser, and now we have it in the wrong game. We needed that in MCC, not in Halo 5.
Right. I feel the same way. But I actually did a video, I think a year ago, saying why Halo 5 needs a custom game browser, and you know, that was before Halo 5 came out almost.
Yep.
Something. Yeah, so
it's insane, really, that like they really did put it in the wrong game. And I mean, when you play Halo 5 with classic settings, it's not as bad as regular Halo 5, but Faven was right when he said, and I didn't agree with this for ages until I tried it myself and said, shit, like he's right, that the bullet magnetism is crazy in Halo 5, and it's made for this enhanced mobility, and it wouldn't work if they built systems around the bullet magnetism because of the Spartan abilities. It just wouldn't work. Classic Halo does not work in that kind of setting, which is why I think Halo 3 Anniversary is something that is totally needed, because then just give us the game and the community will flock to that if they want to play that, and then Halo 6 can release and appeal to the modern audience. But without respecting, like, they haven't respected Halo's history with MCC at all. Like, they've just 1 year of not saying anything about it, of just disregarding it. You know, Halo 5 has been the ultimate smokescreen for MCC. It has been with the free content updates. Every month you're focused on Halo 5. Oh look, there's a free update coming out, and MCC gets pushed further back in our minds. And for me, it's a real disrespectful thing, being someone who's been playing this titles for 15 years. To see a game that I grew up with, that I cherished, really truly cherished, treated that way, it's a slap in the face.
I really don't like how some people in the community will say, well, hey, Halo MCC is fine, you don't need Halo 3 Anniversary, just go back to the MCC, you have that. And really, I don't think the MCC is in a condition to be played and to be built upon. It's really just a disaster. I still think it's gotten better. But I still think it's not in the state that it should be in, and especially when playing with friends. When you're playing by yourself, I think it is more stable. You're less likely to run into problems. So when you're playing with another buddy, or you're playing with a party of 2+, it's a mess sometimes. My game crashes. Just everything, dude. It's black screen.
People quit out of lobbies because there's no penalty in ranked matchmaking for dashboarding at all. The ranks, they open up the ranks, which is stupid. 450s should not be able to match a couple of level 4s and a 20. That does not promote you wanting to play the game. Just for the sake of people finding matches, that doesn't work. Screw that concept. Whoever came up with that, how dare you treat the games like that? And especially with the Halo 2 Elo system, which was a much kind of more stringent ranking system than Halo 3's was. It was a lot less forgiving of the individual player as opposed to just the team player.
Yeah, see, when I got MCC, I was like, oh, I can't wait to dive into the ranks. I literally said this. I was talking to my friends. I can't wait, dude. I'm going to get 50 in every single playlist. And here I am today, and I'm not above level 20 in any of the ranks. Or playlists, because I'm a level 13 in Team Dubs, and me and my buddy are getting paired with level 50s, level 40s, level 30s. It's just it's slaughter. We can't do anything about it, and we're tempted to dashboard after we see the ranks of the opposing players, and it's not a fun experience.
But people will bring up the point I was a 50 in Halo 3, and it took me it took me years, about 5 years to get there. But just because I got that 50 doesn't mean that I can play at that level consistently without working towards it. That's what I think. You have to work up the ranks, and then you play progressively better players, and that's what creates a good Halo player. Going through the ranks like we did in Halo 3 and Halo 2, where you had to progressively fight people that were more badass than you were, and get beaten, and then eventually find the fire within yourself and say, shit, I'm going to get better. I'm going to learn map callouts. I'm going to learn map movement better. All these little glitch spots or whatever it is, or the spawning system. That's what ranked matchmaking was in Halo, and the reflection that it has now in MCC is, in my opinion, a total insult of what it was in Halos 3 and 2. That it was so good in those games that I created loads of different accounts just to keep going through the ranking system once I'd maxed my main account out, because it was so fun.
Right. And I think, looking at Halo 3 Anniversary, I really do think it would be the answer to what the Halo community needs right now. We need a break. We need a taste of classic Halo right now. We don't want modern enhanced mobility. We don't want rec packs and a bunch of other nonsense, even though I think they would probably be stupid enough to add. They would try to add rec packs. And
look at Modern Warfare Remasters, adding weapons in.
Disgraceful.
Isn't it? Even if you can earn them with challenges, people say, oh, you can earn them with challenges. I don't care. The inclusion of them is a complete slap in the face. The community, the COD community, is being so outspoken, saying they don't like that kind of thing. And if they were to put Rex in Halo 3, even if they were just cosmetic, I would still. That's the fucked up part. I would still play the game because I love Halo 3. I love it to my core. It's my favorite game. I've never seen a game that was more perfect than that game, online anyway. And it needs to happen. It really does need to happen.
I agree, and I think that Halo 3 Anniversary would be perfect because it would give 343 another year or so to iron out things and do something good with Halo 6. That's even if they can do something good with Halo 6. I'm still very skeptical.
I don't think they can. I'm just going to say it. Like, I'm going to put all my cards on the table. Like,
I'm not getting my hopes up, you know, because I'm going to be disappointed. At the E3 trailer, they show Halo 6. And you know, there's wall running and sprinting and ground.
If they do that, you've killed Halo. If Halo 6, wall running.
If Halo 6 has wall running, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
I'm not buying. No, I'm not going to buy it.
I can't do it. Yeah.
Man,
there's no way. No. That's the thing, though. Like, they are going to continue to evolve out Halo 5's format because they're going to be building Halo 6 off Halo 5's engine, and unless they can drastically, you know, just change everything around to have a classic kind of way of playing. Like, did you see Hidden Experience video where he was talking about a classic Halo could happen because because I hate this reason as well, people using lore to justify game mechanics, saying that now that Cortana's controlled all the, you know, the technology in the galaxy, she might disable the Spartan suits from doing like thruster pack and things like that. It's like, if they go down that road, we'll see how desperate they are to get fans back into the fray, because like using lore to justify gameplay is crazy. And I think that's what a lot of people think Halo 5 is justified in its mechanics, because thruster packs and sprint were present in the books, but those have been present for years in the books, and they were never implemented until 2015. So some books were out 10 years with thruster packs and sprints being talked about in the actual lore without them actually making their way over to the game. So
I actually made a video about, I don't know, 10 months ago, 11 months ago, why gameplay is more important than lore. And in the video I brought up some points. You know, Spartans have always been able to do these things.
Yeah.
You know, and now all of a sudden people are saying, hey, you know, Spartans can do this, sure, they should be able to do that in gameplay, but the bottom line is that gameplay is not the same as lore.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like in Forza saying, hey, you know, I should be able to get out of my car in real life, right? You know, it's stupid. It doesn't make sense. You know, games are games. Games aren't always meant to be realistic. You know, if you want to play something realistic, play Battlefield. You know, it's
or GTA. Halo, if you want to get out of your car and, like, you know, still feel like a badass when you're driving around, go into GTA. Hell, you can get out of your car and shoot someone. Like, you know, you can do exactly what, like, they say they want to do in real life.
Right. And you know, I don't know if you heard of Crowcat.
No.
Okay, he basically compiles a bunch of clips from developers and stuff, and he made a video called 343 Industries versus Bungie or something along the lines of that.
I have seen that,
yeah. And you know, in that, if you notice, when you see 343 talking, they're going, oh, we want big mass, power, and speed, and we want you to feel like a Spartan and all this nonsense. Okay, it sounded good back then, but when you got the game, it's, oh, this is okay, just enhanced mobility bullcrap. And then Bungie, on the other hand, are talking about, okay, how can we make this fun? How can we, you know, improve the foundation from 1 and 2? What can we do to make our games better? How can we improve in this area and that area? While 343 are just revamping everything and trying to go in their own direction. And it just really shows. And I really like that video.
Did you see Actman's video there with where he's interviewing the Halo CE dev? And there was one of the parts in the video where he said that like they were joking around in the office, and someone in the Bungie office said, oh, we don't need to, you know, change the mechanics around, we just need to, you know, we just made Halo, guys. And they all were saying, like, no, we can always improve. And he was saying that just to troll them, because he knew that they were going to try and improve their formula, because they were hardworking and they wanted to listen, and feedback was a huge thing. That's another thing. I think feedback was a massive thing for Bungie, and I used to always see Bungie people on the forums back in the day on Bungie.net. It was the first forum really that I got into, and they'd always be there talking to us and interacting and saying, like, we hear your feedback. And 343 say we hear your feedback, but it's selective hearing, I find.
I think 343 are forced to say that at some point, you know,
yeah, it's just PR at this stage.
Yeah,
like, you know, on their social media platforms, they don't want to get destroyed, but they are, because people are smarter than they try and make it out to be. Like, it's
at this point, it seems like when we say something, it goes in one ear and out the other with 343.
Yeah,
it's just people are giving up, and you know, if you look on Waypoint, I bet you'd struggle to find some kind of involvement with the community and the developer They actually came out.
Struggle to find a bad thread though, because they ban threads that don't.
Oh yeah,
that don't go with their narrative. You can say as many good things about 343 as you want to, but the second you have some kind of criticism, even if it's constructive and valid, you're gone. Like,
I've been through that road too.
Yeah, they put it into a forum that's basically dead, and I'm sure the moderators are told to do that, saying like, oh, technically we can't ban this person because they haven't been disrespectful, or we can't block the thread, but we can move this thread into a dead subset of the forums that it'll never be seen. It's
yeah, they moved one of my posts to community creations, and
yeah, exactly.
It literally died. It literally died.
Yeah, within seconds.
A day later. Yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, they're really trying to suppress my voice here, and you know, whatever.
Yeah. And then they bolster people that talk, you know, really good about the game, and like that's fine. Look, that's what they've decided to do with their, you know, with their channels and things like that. But I think as YouTubers, like, we do have, if you've played all the other Halos, and you have a, like, I mean, I don't want to insult anyone, but if you're honest about the game state, then you'll see that these previous titles that we had, like from 2001 to about 2010, when Reach arrived, that these titles were so much more immense in just the community's response and like just the overall gaming reception to them. Like, Halo was known as like one of those things, like, PlayStation may have good games, but we have Halo, and that was a real bragging point. And you can't brag about Halo anymore. You brag about Halo to someone else. You know, say,
I love that you just said that. Oh my goodness, you don't understand. I'll go on any forum, you know, see Xbox versus PlayStation 4, and nobody brings up Halo anymore. People actually say, oh, all you guys have is Halo, and nobody wants to play Halo. The people on PlayStation even know this, for Pete's sake. Nobody wants to play Gears 4. Nobody wants to play Halo 5 because I mean, look at the populations for those two games. They're side by side. What, Halo 5 is 20 and Gears 4 is 19 on the most played list. Nobody is playing these games. It's awful, dude.
And in my opinion, that's not because the IPs aren't, you know, valid. Because in the past they were massive. It's just the decisions that were made in the past few years have just gone completely against. They were marketing decisions. They weren't proper business decisions based on community feedback. They were made to make money with that incentive in mind of selling copies. Because and the consumer keeps falling for it. They keep falling for it. And it's just annoying. That's why I think I will not buy Halo 6 if it has any of these things in it, because I can't do it. Like, I have to just cross a line somewhere, and Halo 5 for me was that line.
I just think it's crazy how all of Microsoft's flagship titles, Halo, Gears of War, Fable, you know, have all taken the turn. Especially, I don't want to get off topic, but Fable, you know, especially Microsoft tore that to shreds.
Yeah, it's gone.
So, you know, I honestly, I have no hope at this point. I'm not going to get my hopes up because I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to get angry. You know, so how can we make it better? We just talk about it. We
have to make these, we have to make the community aware of that there are these problems, and that you may not like to hear it, and you may call YouTubers like myself and Wpns Grade salty or jaded or nostalgia goggled fans or whatever it is.
I get called that insult all the time.
All the time, man.
Nostalgia blind moron.
Yeah, it's like, Bungie are gone. Like, the Halo games in the past weren't that good, and you just have to look at facts and statistics to prove your points there. And like, that's really what it is. Take a scientific outlook at all of these games and say, has the franchise gained numbers? No, it hasn't. In fact, it's lost a dramatic amount of its population. So to postulate that these new games are better is intellectually dishonest. And if I'm being completely honest, if you describe the game as being the best game ever, compared to the other games with all those facts out there, then you're being stupid. I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm saying you're being stupid. Right.
And some people will hear that and say, oh, you're this and that. You're talking nonsense. Really. But really, you know, the facts are there. You can look them up. Halo 5, in terms of gameplay, I don't like it. In terms of content, I don't like it. And the numbers really show. It's not like, hey, Halo 5 is doing good. Halo 5, because honestly, if Halo 5 was doing good, maybe I wouldn't be so critical about it. Maybe I wouldn't, you know, if it was actually doing great, then, you know, you wouldn't see a lot of YouTubers talking about it, saying, you know, we need change, we need this, we need that, but it's not doing anything.
And 343 have lied about the numbers themselves, like saying, remember the videos, we both did videos on this, on the monthly active players versus concurrent. That someone logging in that's not an active user. You know, logging in and saying, oh, look at this update. Oh, wait, I hate this update. Hogwild gave us, what, like 3 skins and a warthog with a leopard skin. And then logging off and saying, I'm not going to play Halo this month because there's nothing worthwhile.
Yes, that's exactly what we both said in those videos. And I think it's crazy that 343 actually tricked much of their consumer base into believing that Halo 5 was the most played Halo game of all time besides Halo 3. Which was total nonsense, you know.
It's desperate PR. It really is.
They put it out there. They don't say anything else about it. They don't prove it. They say, "Hey, we might reveal the numbers," but they never did. You know, because it was total nonsense. Everything they say is total nonsense.
And it was that was so easy to disprove. Your video, actually, I came out. I remember doing my video, and then your video came out like a week later or something, and you just destroyed them with the facts and statistics. Like you did your homework on that one, and. I mean, I was golf clapping the entire time, man. It was like they just completely dug themselves another hole. I couldn't believe that they did that. Like there's that much criticism coming out, and then they make a stupid lie like this, and some people believe it. And that's the thing, like that at this point in time, if people say things that are completely baseless in fact about the Halo franchise, about classic Halo compared to the modern Halo, you stand to hurt the franchise more than you do to gain. They think they're gaining from this, but they're not. Because if you can't really lose more respect than they already have. But, I mean, like, they are. And it's staggeringly, like, it's weird seeing that they're still making these rookie mistakes after the community have been in uproar about some things. Right. Saying that, stop lying, 343, please just be honest with us. Like, if they had put a population counter in Halo 5, it would have been so telling to them as well, because the community would have been, you know, in full view of how well this game is doing, and it would have just given them, better feedback than I think that they want to get.
Yeah, well, I made a video also about that. What happened to Halo 5's population counters, and basically, what I argue is that the population counter itself is a marketing tool. Essentially, what that means is, you know, if a game developer has a population counter in place, they want you to see that number. Why do they want you to see that number? Well, they want you to see that number because it shows that their game is living. It shows that their game is breathing. There's actually a community. There's actually people playing, and you know, it's alive. Whereas it would be counterintuitive if they would put a population counter on a game that is dead, because then you'll get the opposite effect. You'll have people saying, "Oh, this game is dead. Nobody plays this game, so why should I play it?" It's kind of like a bandwagon effect, because you see Halo 3, 1 million players online in its prime.
Man, that was the best thing ever, seeing that. People don't understand that now with Halo games. Right. That at one stage you saw 1 million people online, or even seeing 100,000 people online, and you knew then, I'm going to get some good games.
Right, you do. You were like, oh, I want to be involved. I want to get in there and play, and you know, it was great. And now Halo 4, there's 5,000 people playing online, and why am I here? What is the purpose?
Exactly. People don't like this game. Like, this game has been widely, like, it's not accepted by this community as a whole. Right. So what are we doing here? And that's where Halo 5's has really gone wrong, that they're making up these crazy numbers and using those free content updates, because they must have known that they were going to drop off a lot of players with the direction that they were taking. They must have known that they needed some way of artificially spiking those player numbers and keeping the game relevant in some way. But that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is by listening to your community and really just catering to us and just listening to our feedback, because without the consumer, there is no Halo 5. You know, without Halo 1 to 3, there's no Halo 4. There's no MCC, there's no Halo 5.
Right. And I don't... If that's the case, then why aren't 343 doing something about it? I feel like they aren't doing anything. You know, they're just... we're just going to go in our own direction. We're just going to add this and that to the game. And, you know, what's the point of beta tests when they're not going to change anything anyway?
Yeah.
You know, it's... I just
Apart from the art style, which everyone unanimously agrees that the Halo 5 beta art style was a little bit better than the current one. Like, I think Late Night's done a load of videos on saying that he much preferred the beta art style to the, the current version. And there's something wrong there when, like, people say, I really like this current art style. And then they go and change it all because, I don't know, Jim in marketing said, this looks a bit better.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about art style a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think we talked a good amount about Anniversary and all that other stuff. But in terms of art style, what do you think of Halo 5's art style? What do you think of 343's art style in general? And, what do you think Halo 6 should do?
It looks a lot different anyway to the Halo that I grew up with. It's more, like, there's a lot, I mentioned this in my Dignity video, that there's so much going on, it seems, sometimes on the map, that it distracts me as to, like, the player movement of my enemies. That, there's like a globe or something, right beside my face, and then someone moves in front of me, and it's like, shit, is that my own guy, or oh fuck, and then there's somebody on top of me, and then I'm dead, and then I'm angry because I was looking at the game saying, like, to its credit, the 60 frames per second looks good, but there's a lot of things that are taking away from the fact that I'm playing a Slayer match, so my objective is not to be admiring the map. I can like the map and the way it looks, but my objective is to kill people. And anything that distracts from that, I don't enjoy that. And like a lot of people have said, it looks like Power Rangers. It does. It's so blocky and bright, and it doesn't look like you're a Spartan. The Spartans are meant to be war-torn. They've been in loads of battles. They're meant to be gritty warriors. And then you see, all these bright Spartans like, hey guys, what's going on? It's like jocks, like, it's like a lot of jocks.
Call-outs mid-game. Hey, I'm reloading, and nice shot. Oh, cool. And
it's like, I don't need anyone to make me feel like a badass in the game if I've made a badass shot. I can do that myself. I don't need an AI, I don't need an AI
even the announcer,
me, hey, man.
Even the announcer is taking a turn for the worst, in my opinion. I like double kill. And now he's double kill. And just, why? What's you...
Or even changing the announcers. Like, you buy a rec pack, you get a grunt to call out, your fucking double kill or whatever. It's like, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. Like, let's just say it. It is like it's starving us of content so that we're going to be so hungry for something new to make the experience kind of different that everyone just says, "Oh, this is great. Thank you, 343." Thank you for what?
Ever since we've been talking, dude, I've just been shaking my head in awe of just how just recollecting on how incompetent 343 have been, and it's just, I can't stop shaking my head as we're talking. But
I'm just nodding whenever you're saying something right. I'm just
it's just awful.
I should have had the webcams on.
But with art style, I loved how Halo 2, in my opinion, Halo 2 was the best Halo game. Now I know, a lot of people like H3, a lot of people actually like H1. I like H2, and we can. It's all right.
That's fine. No, I think it has the best campaign.
Right. Well, I think it has the best multiplayer, and I know a lot of people say, "Oh, the sword is unlimited," and whatever. But
I mean, it's a skill curve. You have to get over that. It's,
at least the first 3 games are actually building off of each other. So it's not like saying, "Oh, I like Halo 5," because it's not. It deviates so much you can't even tell. But in terms of art style, I loved how Halo 2 portrayed the Halo universe, and the Forerunner is desolate, ancient, mysterious. Those and compared to Halo 5, flashy, bright, shiny, metallic. It's just, it doesn't feel right,
About the Halo 2, the thing with the Forerunners, that was great because the less we knew about the Forerunners, the more kind of mysterious, like you said, the kind of the more badass they were. It's like, who were these people? Like, what did they do? Like, oh my god, they built all these rings, and now they're gone, and then we have this new fight. But in some way, they're still kind of there because their technology is still like much more advanced than both the races that are fighting against each other. So it was, And on the multiplayer side of things that you mentioned, I think Halo 2 having the hit scan battle rifle was, in a way, because I hate sometimes missing shots in Halo 3. Like, I'm good with the projectile BR, but I do think after playing Halo Online that a hit scan battle rifle is a great way of just keeping balance, because you can't account for people's connections. Some people lag, and having a hit scan battle rifle is better. So Halo 2 did that right. I was actually playing it earlier. It's great, but having the green gun and then some of the super jumps and the sword, I think you just need to get over that. The sword is an unbelievable power weapon in that game, so you have to find ways of getting around it. Sure, the nades in Halo 2 are like nukes, so compared to Halo 3. Yeah. So they did tone a lot down, but
it wasn't perfect, but it was fun.
Couch gaming when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
My God, like the hype around Halo 2, dude, when it came out was insane. And I don't see that for the latter titles. It was there for Halo 3 and Reach, to their credit. And for Halo 4 to a degree.
I think it was there for Reach, and then it started to, I'm starting to not like this kind of... Because if you remember, there was a lot of criticism with Halo Reach 2. And then, there was a lot of criticism with Halo 4. And now there's even more criticism with Halo 5. So they seem to have gotten worse and worse. I liked Halo Reach for what it was. Halo Reach itself was a prequel. It's
a good spin-off.
It was a spin-off, right. It was good, yeah. So it's not like it was Halo 4. And, it introduced all these Spartan abilities and sprint and all this stuff and jetpack, but whatever. It was something different. That's okay. It was acceptable. But when 343 said, hey, Halo 4, we're going to build off Halo Reach, I think they should have stopped and kind of looked at what they should have done more in terms of where they went and wanted to build off of. They should have built off of Halo 3 or Halo 2 or even Halo 1 in that fact.
But they were so selective in what they built off from Halo Reach with some of the armor abilities. Like, Halo Reach had really diverse content. Like, you had just a regular playlist where there was the Bloom DMR. Then you had the title updated with the no Bloom DMR, and it did have some of the armor abilities. Then you had the MLG playlist that just played like classic Halo. So there was something there. That's their example of how to do a Halo game, I think. If they're going to make everything different, at least give everybody avenues to play the way that they want to. And MLG in Halo Reach was still pretty goddamn big, and people still, like my friends that played Reach throughout its entire life cycle, spent most of their time in the MLG playlist, and then when they didn't want to play Reach, just the regular vanilla settings, they went back to Halo 3. So, people can still, you can still make two games vastly different, but just give everybody avenues in the same game to play the way that they want to. That's what I think, anyway.
And I can at least respect Halo Reach and Halo 4 in the sense that they launched with content. They were just full of things to do. Halo 4 had Forge at launch. Halo 4 had Spartan Ops. Even if you didn't like Spartan Ops, it was still something. Yeah. Okay, they had game modes, all the game modes. Halo 4 was missing some, but you get the point. It had more game modes than what Halo 5 had. Halo Reach, Firefight, all the Forge world, everything. File share, this and that. And then you get to Halo 5, not only does it break Halo in terms of gameplay, it feels nothing like Halo, but we also forgot to add Infection, Assault.
And 7 launch playlists. 7 launch playlists. That's an insult. And releasing Big Team Battle later, saying, we can't really implement it in now. Why? Why is the game coming out in October if it's going to take until November to actually get the game shipping with enough content, with Forge, some of the staples of Halo?
I think they should have delayed Halo 5. Yeah. I really think they should have.
Should have had a 2016 release. If they had released with enough content as they do now, and then added free content to the game, then that would have been in somewhat justified. But it should have been a spin-off, I think, in general. It doesn't feel... Even the campaign, look at that campaign. They're saying, finish Chief's story, the next part in Chief's story. No, it's the first part in Spartan Locke's story, and 2 missions as Chief. So... In that sense, the campaign itself feels more like a spin-off to me, that you're playing as a different character, and then you have your throwback just to keep people thinking, oh shit, we get to play as Chief now. This is great. Now we can actually accept Locke as a character coming in. Just like they did with Metal Gear Solid 2. You play as Raiden for most of the game, but you still get to play as Snake, and he's still present in the campaign, if you guys have played that game. But
I find it hilarious that 343 went so far as to say, well, there's 2 missions in the game where you actually go around talking to people, sort of like an RPG style, collecting information, and that was such nonsense, dude.
Yeah.
You're walking around and, you're gonna talk to this one person, and then that's it. You go on to the next mission. It was nothing, and they try to make it seem like, the campaign is so long, and we knew that Halo 5 wasn't what it was going to be from the beginning.
Not. Yeah.
We called them on the bullshit. you know, when Frank O'Connor, Josh Holmes, or whatever is saying, oh, it's going to be the longest campaign, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, it's going to be diverse, and it's going to be huge open world, and
this is the biggest scale for the campaign. What are you talking about? Yeah, exactly. I spoke to a lot of people in a kind of like in-between mission, and I got an achievement afterwards for just talking to characters in the game. Like, what the hell? Like, I didn't achieve anything. I progressed the story.
It honestly feels like they added those 2 missions in just to fill the game up with time, with content, because they were just too lazy to actually craft something more
meaningful.
Yeah.
Because they could have gone like several different places. They really should have, and I'll stand by this. I loved Cortana. I think Cortana is a great character. My cat that I adopted, a stray cat years ago, before whatever, but I called her Cortana because I was thinking, what's a good female name for this cat? I thought Cortana, great.
Your cat's name is Cortana.
It was, it was
awesome.
Cortana. Yeah, the new one's Yuna from Final Fantasy, but
that's awesome.
But like, I was the first name that I came to, and like, I remember a friend of mine saying when we had to get her put down, he said, you know, Spartans never die and all this. And it was like, you know, it was kind of something I could think about it nicely, because it's like, I love this franchise, and, you know, I love the name and I love what it means.
Right.
You know, she was 7 when she died, so it was like the same thing as AI. That's why he said it. It was like, well, you know, it actually meant something. The franchise back in the day meant something. And Cortana was a great character to the point that I think they should have left her, you know, dead. They shouldn't have brought her back. What was the point in bringing her back? Just to make her evil. You turned the character that we loved from 2001 until, what was it, 2012 when Halo 4 released? You turned her into a villain. So 12 years of admiring this character and loving her little quirks in the campaign and loving the back and forth between Chief and Cortana into what it is now, which is she's a villain and she wants to kill people just to save the galaxy.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. And if their reason is for a Halo 6 plot to say that, oh, she wasn't doing it of her own will, then that's just, it's a bad move. Terrible.
I think in Halo 6, in terms of campaign, they need to have another villain behind Cortana, maybe something that's controlling her, or something like that. I'm not sure, but
Didact maybe, but
but
he died in a comic, so it's like, what?
It's gonna be hard to they're gonna have to really do some work on that. But I think it's hilarious how in Halo Reach, you know, you're with Noble Team and you're trying to escort Cortana, you have her on your back or in that cartridge or whatever, and you know, people are dying one at a time, and the goal was to get her on the forward on Sedan or whatever, the Pillar of Autumn, I'm sorry. And you know, you do all this and then zip to Halo 5, it's all meaningless. It meant nothing. You basically created the villain in Halo 5. You just destroyed Halo Reach's whole story. It was horrible.
Yeah. No, but Team Sacrifice meant absolutely nothing, because the best chance at humanity's survival is now the best chance of them getting absolutely extinguished off the universe, and it's
basically
God, like,
if Noble Team failed, then Cortana would have never happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they should have just let, like, either way, like, humanity are fucked according to Halo 5's, you know, canon now. It's Cortana just kind of delayed that about 20 years by just having a change of heart suddenly as soon as she gets absorbed into, what was it called, like the Domain or something? Yeah,
the Forerunner architect, whatever.
And that was cool. That was something that they built on in the books about the Domain with the Ancillas, the actual Forerunner AI. I've read all the books. I don't like to talk about it in my videos because, you know, I could talk about it in the videos and say, oh, I love this part of the lore or whatever, but I'm more concerned with the direction that the FPS franchise and its mechanics are traveled in, because if this franchise ends up timing itself out in a few years because they just haven't listened to anyone, it won't matter how cool the lore is. It won't matter at all. Like, so the focus is totally bogus at the moment for the game, and it's going to hurt sales in future. And people will say people like us hurt sales by having these opinions, but I think just saying that the company is great and that every move they make is amazing is more destructive.
You need criticism. You really need to criticize something to make it better, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people say, hey, you know, stop talking about Halo 5. It's this, it's that, shut up, you know, but You need to talk about these things. You need to talk about these things so that they can be fixed in the future. And that's what people need to get ingrained into their heads. Constructive criticism is good criticism. It's something that needs to happen. It's, you could, even in real life, if somebody says, hey, you're not doing this, or I don't like this about you, you can take that and you can turn it into something better. You can start doing better for yourself, right? Yeah. It can be applied to anything. And that's what people don't understand. They're saying, oh, don't talk about this, don't talk about that, just shut up. No, you need to talk about these things to improve them so they can actually be fixed, so they can actually get better.
But you're right, people are having an emotional response. I know we're emotional about this because we really care about Halo, but for the main point of it, people have an emotional response about criticism to Halo 5 for an objective opinion of the game based on facts. Like this it is based on facts.
I love how you say it's based on facts, because it is.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
it totally is, and it's just because I'm passionate about, and you're passionate about the direction that Halo needs to travel in, and we don't agree with the direction that it does, like that it is traveling in now, doesn't mean that like we're these salty people who want Halo to fail. It's the complete opposite. It totally is, and I think there is that big divide in the community where if you speak out about 343, then you're seen as anti-Halo, which I think is so silly. It's so, what the hell would I be doing, like, on the train and everything into college, writing scripts and trying to brainstorm things and constantly having Halo on my mind and ways that I can try and bring attention to how it should improve itself if I didn't care about Halo. Like, do I do bashing videos about Halo? Like, no, I criticize the game because I want it to be where it was. I've seen it being better. I've seen the standard that it's set. And to see it drop its standards that low is, people do the same with football teams. Like, if your favorite football team is slipping that season, you don't just say, oh, well, at least they're still playing. It's, it's saying, guys, get better. Like, what are you doing?
Right, that's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah. I feel the same way. I put a lot of time into my videos. I go to college, I work, and then at the same time I do these videos, and people think, oh, you're just hating on the game, you're this and that, you suck, you just don't like you. I really don't like when people say this. They say you're just bad at Halo 5 and Halo 4, because I'm so tempted, seriously, to just comment back and say 1v1 me, because I'm not bad at Halo 4 or 5 or Reach. I'm really good at the games. Hey, I'm probably better than you, really. No, but seriously,
1v1 me.
Yeah. We might have to do that, but
I might have to reinstall the game then.
Oh yeah, but it's just the fact of the matter, dude, is that we do this to help the game. We do this to try to build on the franchise and try to make it better. We're not trying to destroy things. We're trying to make it better, and that's what people don't understand. And I'm glad you said that and brought that up, because it was important.
Yeah, it is important. Just because someone is outraged in one video about something doesn't mean that they're completely trying to bury the franchise by bringing all these negative things up. Negative press helps companies improve. Right. It does. If someone finds a fingernail in a burrito, like, not mentioning that is a big deal. Like, it's a big deal. Like, they could get the company closed down. It could pretty much cripple like a food business, a restaurant. Right. So you go up and because if you enjoy the product, you say, here, look, I found this in my burrito. Like, you need to improve your health and safety. And it's the exact same with Halo. If we don't say these things, I feel like if I don't say these things, then, and I see Halo fail, I'll feel like I could have done something and I just chose not to. Right. Because I didn't want to take the criticism that people would have for me for not liking the game. So that's where I come on that thing. But I wanted to talk to you about. Go on. Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to bring up one more thing about art style, because we sort of deviated from the original topic.
Totally, yeah.
Which is all right, discussion is discussion. Okay, yeah. But I just wanted to talk about the enemy AI and how in Halos 1 through 3, I loved the elites, the Covenant, the way they looked, their armor. You had the gold elites, the red elites, and and the grunts were actually, I think they, in a sense, they kind of look cute in Halo 2.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. Halo 3, they're just, I'm not Halo 3, Halo 4 and 5, they look feral and savage. I don't know.
Yeah, they're trying to make them look more badass. But right, like, and then, do you not remember when you'd like kill an elite and the grunts would be like, run away, run away, and it was funny. Like, and sometimes you wouldn't even kill them, you just run past them.
Right, it added to the experience. And now, you know, Halo 4, you know, they're speaking a different language, blah blah blah. You know, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't add to the experience like it did when, you know, it said demon run away, and you know they're just running. And you know, in that cutscene, my favorite cutscene in Halo 2, and Master Chief comes up out of nowhere and scares the grunt, and he goes boo, and the grunt just screams and runs. You know, that kind of stuff was great. It gave Halo a special personality that I can't even describe it. It was awesome.
Or even on Assault in the Control Room in Halo CE, where like the pelican just rises up and the grunt's just runs away. It's brilliant, because you knew then, okay, the grunts are the funny kind of enemy, that they're the fodder, and then the elites are these are, and the brutes in the later games, these are your problems. Like, these are the ones that you focus on. And then they bring the Flood in, which is completely, I mean, look, they have to bring back the Flood, I think. You need to go back to that kind of gameplay. It made it so like tense, and you were on the edge of your seat. Even you knew
everything from the music, you know, the tone, the art style, it all added up to be a culmination of, and it was just amazing. You know, Halo. Yeah, I can't even describe it, dude. That's how awesome it was. And Halo 4 and 5, or 343 Halo for that matter, lack many of those traits that made the Halo franchise so special to begin with. And I think it's awful. You know, playing on those flood maps, like you were saying, you know, when the music chimed in, and you felt tense. I was actually scared. You know, when Halo 1 was out. I was a kid when Halo 1 came out, and oh my god, dude, I had nightmares about the Flood and the little
I didn't expect it. Yeah, the infection forms, like they just burst through a door. I was like, what the hell are those? And then you saw the larger ones, and you saw the Marine, like, you know, sitting down saying, you know, you won't take me, and everything. It was terrifying. You're right.
And now it's just like, okay, what is this? This is.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of Prometheans, like big robots.
That's a whole topic in itself. Oh my goodness. I was gonna make a video, basically saying why the Prometheans suck and how the other enemies were better. I feel like I'm shooting a wall, like a metal wall.
I think you should make a video on that.
Yeah, it feels like, in my opinion, it feels like you're just shooting a metal wall, and you know, there's barely any blood. I don't even think their combat mechanics are unique in any way. They just
there's no emotion to it. Like, you can't really like put yourself in the, like, you know, in the, like, on the perspective of a machine getting shot to bits, because you just know that machine's just going to heal up, just gets a few more parts, doesn't feel a thing. But with an elite screaming, like, you know when you break their shield in Halo, they'd be like, roar, you kill them, and then they'd scream, like, it was,
and sometimes, you know, they were unpredictable. You know, he would pull out a sword after he started screaming and charge you. And it was just awesome. And then, meanwhile, on Halo 4 and 5, you have, you know, these little, I don't even know what they're called, the grunt variant of the Promethean, that little, like, dog kind of looking
the crawler,
whatever. You know, that's how insignificant these enemy AI are. I can't even remember their names. That's how insignificant they are. But, you know, they're just barely any blood. You know, I love the factor of blood in Halos 1 through 3. And how, you know, it felt real. You were just shooting these enemies, and when you shot them when they were dead, they, you know, they would just sponge bullets and
blood,
and they felt like they had life to them. And these things, they feel like robots. And I think it really takes away from the experience that was once had with Halos 1 through 3.
Like, I feel the brutes, like, a lot of people don't want to focus in on the brutes too much, because a lot of people love the elites are synonymous with Halo. I mean, they are the equivalent of the Spartans. A lot more numerous, obviously, but they are the kind of match to the Spartans. But I think the brutes, and in one way, I am really glad that Halo Wars 2 now has just brought the brutes back in a kind of format that they are badass. These are massive ape-like creatures that, I mean, remember in Halo 3, like, you'd shoot them a little bit and then they'd start charging towards you. And if you accidentally had 3 or 4 of them coming towards you, it was like, oh my god, like, movement was key then. That I mean, that goes back to mechanics, but I love
the brute chieftain, and when he had the gravity hammer, and the way he would run at you, it was so unique. Like,
he'd knock everything out of the way. Like, he'd you know, bash like everything out of the way and turn on invincibility, and you'd have to think, shit, I literally have to outrun this guy now for 10 or 15 seconds, and then I can shoot him. But even then, I may not kill him because he's a beast.
Yeah. They were so fun to kill. But what was the next topic?
I was going to do emphasis on the FPS and not the RTS franchise. And I know I just mentioned Halo Wars 2 there, but I think that too many people are thinking if you don't support Halo Wars 2, you're not a Halo fan. Whereas some people just don't like real-time strategy games at all. And it's not being a Halo fan, even though I've seen some of the footage and it looks quite good. The story looks way better than 4 and 5, for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm interested. I honestly didn't play Halo Wars 1 campaign. I was only in it for the multiplayer. I should have played the campaign, but looking at the trailers for Halo Wars 2, I'm like, wow, this looks so cool with Atriox and the Brutes and all this stuff. It looks really interesting. So I'm actually going to play Halo Wars 2 campaign because I'm really excited.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it's kind of, the campaign itself convinced me, but some of the modes, I can't support a microtransaction mode. I can't do it.
Right. I played one match of Blitz mode and I haven't touched it. And
I played an hour on stream and I nearly released a video on it, but I had to stop myself because it was going to be too toxic.
I won't be playing Blitz mode at all. I will not touch Blitz mode. I will be playing the base game modes. I will be playing campaign, and that's about it. Blitz mode is just nothing.
Yep.
And so you're basically, I'm kind of having trouble understanding what you're saying. You're saying basically that if you don't like Halo Wars 2, you're considered
there's this kind of theme now that if you're not supporting Halo Wars 2, you may not want the franchise to succeed as much as it could. Whereas I think, and I'm someone that thinks that instead of emphasizing the real-time strategy franchise, which has been revived as a spin-off title to try and generate more revenue, that we should be focusing on, like we've mentioned throughout this discussion, like the FPS franchise. We need to focus on the core franchise because that's where you're going to gain your core fans. You're not going to gain core fans. Like, how many new fans are they going to pick up from Halo Wars 2 over a game like Halo 5? You know,
I predict that it's going to be the best-selling RTS on Xbox One because it's only Halo. You know, it has the name Halo on it, but it's not going to be anything influential or culturally influential.
Especially not on PC.
Right.
Because if you're looking at a real-time strategy game on PC, you have the Total War series, you have StarCraft. I've played both of those games.
Civilization. Everything.
You've got Civ 6 just came out this year. Like, it's... or last year, excuse me.
So it's not going to cater to that audience. It's really going to cater to the core Halo fans, console gamers. And, you know, I like Halo Wars 2 in the sense that, well, I liked Halo Wars 1. So it's obvious that, hey, I'd be excited for Halo Wars 2, even though I don't like the Blitz mode. I honestly didn't really feel for the gameplay. If I really wanted to be honest here, I could not play the beta like I could play Halo Wars 1. I did not feel it. I didn't like the maps. I do like the art style. I like how they went back to the original art style in a sense, but for some reason Halo Wars 2 just something about it. I think it's because I've been playing a lot of RTS on console, like Supreme Commander 2, Command and Conquer. I feel like those games do it better. Whereas Halo Wars 2, I think the controls are a little clunky. I don't like the maps.
Basic. Yeah.
I don't like the fact that the gameplay is so similar. I wish you could expand your base. I wish you weren't subject to just having that one core base and you only could stay there and expand on that. I agree. I know you can go out and, you know, purchase certain land points and build on those, but I wish you could have the ability to free roam build anywhere. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
It would open more tactics up because, you know, in Supreme Commander, I would take my commander and build a base right in my opponent's base and they wouldn't know, and I'd storm them with a bunch of tanks and essentially spawn kill them, you know.
And then if that base goes down, you just I still have my main base, so this is like an outpost that it's cool.
Right. It opens the experience and gives you more tactics to go along with, and you know, just being stuck with one base, and I don't like that. You know,
or predefined locations, like you said, to build places is
right.
It's not like it breaks the immersion factor because
it feels like it doesn't feel as much of an RTS as it could be if it did have that factor in where you could build anywhere. If you could build anywhere in Halo Wars 2,
compared to like StarCraft, I think it's just an RTS kind of title that's bringing you on a story instead of an RTS title that wants you to just invest yourself into the actual mechanics of a strategy game. It's just you know, it's a strategy game, but they want to bring you on a story first and foremost. So I think for Halo that might work now with the fact that we finally need a good story. I mean, Brian Reed has gone nowhere near Halo Wars 2, and thank God for that.
I honestly think, like, how does this guy, like, operate on a day-to-day basis? Like, does he, in his mind, does he feel bad? Does he know that we, as the Halo community, totally just trash him all the time?
He must know. He'd have to know.
I honestly feel bad for the guy.
I mean, I don't. Like, it's, you make your bed, you sit in it, like...
Yeah. But I just think, like, he didn't expect all this, did he? Like, he probably thought, oh, Halo 5 is going to be good, and turn around and you did nothing, and here we are, you're just totally shitting you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think it's funny. Every time somebody brings up Brian Reed, I can't stop laughing. I'm just like, wow. Wow. And if he's in Halo 6, doing Halo 6's story,
he will kind of like paint a black mark all over the story. If
they
need more writers. They definitely need more writers. They need more people that are invested in the game.
What happened to the Halo the TV series or whatever?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, or the Peter Jackson film. Apparently, I've seen people talking on Twitter that there was a leaked Halo script. I need to get my hands on that and read it and see. Everyone's saying that it's so corny, and
wasn't it Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, Spielberg and Peter Jackson, I think, or Neil Blomkamp. Was it the guy who made District 8? Was it?
I think so. Yeah.
One of those films. Yeah, it was.
I love
Chappie or Elysium or whatever it was. Like, that was a great one, actually. But
in terms of Microsoft, dude, things are starting to go in one ear and out the other for me. I mean, they say they're going to release this and that, and Scalebound cancellation, Phantom Dust cancellation. It's still coming out, but there were problems, of course. Fable cancellation, things with Halo, things with Gears. I'm really starting to not.
PlayStation are doing it better. Let's just say it. Like, PlayStation destroyed Microsoft, though, at the E3 after the E3 conference in 2013, where the whole DRM policies, they were so out of touch with their consumer, with the whole digital rights management or whatever the name for it is, with actually just having your games digitally downloaded and not being able to share them. And when PlayStation with Shuhei Yoshida and like the North American head came out with that video saying, how do you share your games on PlayStation? And one of them was just handing a box to the other saying, this is how you share your games. I think they nearly won there. I'd say that was the beginning of the end, and Microsoft knew it because it made them seem like complete jokes. And then I think a lot of people have brought up the fact that Master Chief Collection was rushed to sell consoles because of them hemorrhaging sales.
It was.
And it's really that's unforgivable, but Microsoft need to get smarter. They need to get more in touch with their consumer. Less marketers and more developers.
Microsoft need to make new IP. That's what Microsoft needs to do.
Yeah.
And they need to take their existing IPs and make them better. They need
to keep their existing IPs the way that they were when they built them, and if they want to branch out with different mechanics, just like they did with Titanfall. I mean, Titanfall shits on Black Ops 3 in my opinion, and Infinite Warfare, because it was never anything but what the gameplay is for it now. It was always enhanced mobility. It always had these kind of facets to the game, like wall running. That was what it was. That's the premise that the game was built on, and that's why I think a lot of even the Halo community guys, like, I'm not much of a enhanced mobility shooter guy at all, but I bought Titanfall 2 there recently, and the campaign is excellent. The multiplayer is fun. I won't be spending loads of time on it, but it's itself.
It's a good
and you
game.
Can respect a game for it being itself and having a nice idea. But if a game steals ideas, then it just makes it seem just shoddy. It really does, and just lazy. And people see through that.
Right. I wanted to talk about content. In Halo. What do you think about Halo 5's lack of content? I mean, what else is there to think really about it? But just a discussion, what do you think they could have done better? What do you think Halo 6 could do better? And just the sort of...
Well, if they need to delay the game to get more content out the door, I think that will... I think there's this whole mindset for game developers and publishers that if they delay a game, especially publishers, that if they delay a game and not meeting, their third quarter sales of the year, that it's really going to negatively impact them. But I think the complete opposite can be said. Like, games that have delayed themselves tend to do a lot better. and tend to have a lot stronger communities and better receptions than games that just rush themselves out the door because, you know, we need those sales for Christmas, you know, we need to sell those consoles.
Yeah.
Whereas they will end up selling more of their product and having just a better experience for the consumer if they just say, we need more content, we need 3 months more, you have to delay this game. And then I think people will respect that decision.
Imagine if Halo 5 launched in February or March with full content, everything that it has now, server browser, everything. You know,
it would be a lot stronger, yeah. And
not only would it be
position,
a lot stronger, not only would it be a lot stronger, but it would also have less competition to compete with.
Yeah.
You know, what is releasing in February, March, April, May, June?
No idea.
Right? Why are you releasing? It's like with EA, you know, releasing Titanfall between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty. Right?
They killed it.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you release it in, you know, March, April, May, June, whatever? That would.
I do think though
ideal.
that marketing tactic was in some way, you know, releasing Titanfall before Call of Duty, I think was in a way to show that, you know, we can do the COD's new formula better than COD can because we created this formula. We created Modern Warfare 2. Like Respawn created Modern Warfare 2, and they're basically. I think that was a real fuck you, but I completely agree that it should not have released between those two games. It should have had a better chance, but I think it released after Battlefield just to show up Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Really, that like if you want enhanced mobility, choose Titanfall, not Infinite Warfare.
Right, and you know, like I said, if Halo 5 released in that quarter of the month or the year, it would have less competition. People would be playing it more. You know, if you release Halo 5 before Call of Duty, people are going to play Halo 5. They're going to say, hey, this is just like Call of Duty. Go play Call of Duty when it comes out next week.
Yeah.
And Halo 5's gone. It's just sitting there collecting dust.
I think there's a worry as well with like the lack of content in Halo 5. I think there is a worry that if they do release a Halo, back to Halo 3, but if they release a Halo 3 anniversary, that would have like just pound for pound in returns of like, I guess, return of investment, the amount of things that you can do in that game and the amount of like replayability would just completely crap on the modern formula, and people would immediately see that and then tell 343, well, you fucked up in the past few years, like your formula didn't work. And I think there is that fear, and I genuinely think that's one of the reasons that it, you know, that they're reluctant to even make the game, is that it would show up how bad the new games are. It would show like there's so little content, there's so little thought put into the ranking systems and progression systems, and
I hate Halo 5's ranking system.
Oh, if you can even really call it that, like that kind of ranking system. I think it was Joshua Menke who made that for StarCraft 2. That kind of ranking system I don't think works in Halo, because the 10 placement matches works for a real-time strategy game where you have hundreds of thousands of people and a lot more diverse mechanics than run up, point and shoot. You know, it's at the end of the day, Halo is a lot less complex than a strategy game is. Right. That's why, you know, it really is. So having that kind of ranking system that really just didn't work and went completely against what we were used to. Like, I used to love, if we had started off on bronze in the Halo 5 ranking system and had to work our way up to Onyx, how much better would that have been?
Way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
You would have earned your way there.
I honestly can't play enough Halo 5 online to actually even get a rank. I can't play 10 placement matches. No. I get bored by the time I get to 4 or 5.
I haven't played ranked since May of last year.
I haven't played ranked since, oh man. A couple months after release of Halo 5 at least.
It has changed though. Like, you can now drop out of divisions if you play poorly, but I mean that took months to implement. Then having like your rank reset every month. I don't think they realized that when you had your rank reset back in Halo 2 is when that first kind of happened. That was the game that ranks were reset every now and again, every 6 or so months. But when that happened, that was to accommodate people that were level locked in the ELO system, that they couldn't progress farther because of, you know, the amount of points that they had to win against opponents that were just maybe miles better than them that they were getting matched up against. And like it took that ELO system took in individual skill and win loss, whereas Halo 3 just took in win loss. So the Halo 2 ELO was reset for a legitimate reason, that, you know, it did flesh out the game again, and it created a new gaming environment every few months where if you wanted to be beast, you know, try for this, you know, half of the year and then you get to re-rank. Whereas re-ranking every month, Like, I remember ranking into Onyx in the first season or whatever, and then the 2 days later getting kicked out. It's like, well, you know, what the hell was all that for? Like, I just wasted my time. Right. Like, grinding out a couple of hours. Like, I don't have time to do that every single month. And now I don't even have time to do that every 2 months.
See, I think 343 need to just practice the art of looking back. And, you know, instead of going off in their own direction, they need to just look back at what the older Halo games did and build on those foundations. And ranking system is perfect. It's a perfect example because Halo's ranking system, Halo 2 and 3, you know, they were sort of similar. Halo 3 built on it, right? But at least it built onto it, okay? 4, 5, they didn't build onto that at all. They
didn't even have a ranking system in 4. It was online. It was like quick see it. You had to go onto a website that wasn't even an official Halo website.
Right.
Quick
CSR. Yeah.
Stupid.
But my point is, if you look at the other games that are doing it correctly, the other games that are still popular in a sense, Call of Duty. I know it's dwindling at this point, but I don't think it's because of some of the same reasons that Halo is dwindling. You know, Call of Duty still releases with a fairly amount of content, even though the gameplay is starting to become different and, you know, straying from the roots. But you know, they're looking back at if you look back the ranking system, you know, okay, COD 4, prestige mode, you know, the 1 through 60, 1 through 50, whatever, and you go to COD World at War, prestige mode, blah blah blah, Modern Warfare 2, prestige modes, blah blah blah. It goes on, and they built onto that foundation. They didn't scrap it and say, okay, let's do something else. Why would you scrap something that the community likes, right?
Exactly.
If it isn't broke, don't fix it, okay? They build onto it, but they don't just scrap it and say, whatever, you know, we're not going to do this. You know, the created class system, okay? Ever since COD 4, every Call of Duty has had a created class system of some sort and different variations of it. But it's not like they said, we're going to wipe that away and build something else, because the community loves the created class system. It's something that is tailor-made to Call of Duty. When you think of Call of Duty, you think of customization, created class, loadouts, that sort of thing. And that's how Call of Duty is. Why would you take that and just trash that foundation when you could build onto it, like with Black Ops 2 and 3, the Pick 10 system, and, you know, so on and so forth. I think it's really important that 343 need to build onto foundations. They shouldn't be scrapping. They should have took Halo 2's ranking system, or Halo 3's for that matter. Because, see, I like how Halo 3 built onto Halo 2. Not only do you have the 1 through 50, but you also have social XP and experience for the social players.
Yeah, the progression system in that was perfect. That you had, like, not only your skill level, but you had different ranks for those skill levels. And then you had playlist ranks as well, so that if you couldn't get to general, if you couldn't get to level 50 and have your official rank as being general, you could still get to that in a social playlist if you grinded it out. So you were still, like, people would see that rank and say, shit, this person is good. Whereas in, you know, in Halo now, somebody can be level 150 or whatever and just play like absolute crap. The same with Reach. Like, I liked Reaches as well. Like, it really did show that people had put time in, but those progression systems don't show skill. Whereas they don't show skill. Like, they are a good indicator that this person has played a lot of games. So you guarantee yourself that, okay, I'm gonna have a hard game. These people know how to play this game. They have a lot of game time, but it doesn't necessarily translate over to skill. That's why I'm a big proponent of Halo 3's, like, maybe not its elo system. Maybe that should be looked at. But even though I did like it, but I know a lot of people have a lot of discrepancies with it. But I think its progression system has never been better. That, you know, it just awarded you, and it made you feel like and it made you want to grind. That was the thing. It made you really want to grind the game out every weekend with, you know, double XP playlists and, you know, hopping in with your friends to social just to get a couple more things of XP to get closer to your Brigadier General, or, you know, General Grade 3 or whatever it was. So another topic, I've talked a lot there, would be, I want to see quintessential Halo elements come back into the game. So for me, a lot of people argue this with the whole, the Magnum and the assault rifle having, the utility weapon and your main assault rifle, but I want to see BR starts come back for sure into the game. I think that was something that it made me so excited.
Of course. I was so shocked that 343 would actually remove BR starts in Halo 5 and replace it with AR pistol starts. I think it's alright, but I think it was better before. I think it was something that was unique to Halo. You know, you started with the BR, you know, and the Magnum or whatever, assault rifle. But are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, yeah.
Okay, I thought you dropped out.
No, it's all good.
But yeah, it was something unique to Halo, and I felt that the original Halo games flowed better that way with BR starts. And you know, if you didn't like BR starts, you could vote for AR starts. You could vote for, you know, there was options. Whereas with Halo 5, a lot of the times you're just playing ARs and pistols.
I think you brought something up that was great there. You said you could vote in the previous games. Yeah. So the problem is you can't vote anymore. That's another big one, that there's a lot of these maps and game types that you're just thrown into them for the sake of, people think that it makes the game more seamless, but that's literally giving you less options. And I don't know how people can argue that it flows better. You know, being thrown into game types and game modes that you don't even like, you don't even have a chance to stop it, and then you're penalized for leaving those games if you don't like it. Like, heavily penalized, may I add.
It makes no sense. You know, MCC did it, even though MCC did it wrong, I feel.
Totally.
They still had it at least.
They
Halo
finally
3,
fixed it in MCC now, that if something gets, like, even if it's on the left or the right, because if you guys don't remember, the game that was on the very left, so basically Halo 2, would win out every single time, even if there was a tie vote. So which was really stupid.
It was broken, especially in game modes like team doubles, where you know, you and your teammate both vote on something if you want to play Halo 3, but then the other team would vote on the other side and pick Halo 4, and then you're stuck playing Halo 4. It should have randomized between the two, or picked something else entirely. And you know, other games do this. I don't see why. If 343 can copy a lot of the things that they copied from, in terms of gameplay, from Call of Duty and stuff, why can't they copy something as simple as a veto system from Call of Duty, right?
Yep. I mean, Reach did the voting really great, that you had 3 different choices, then you could select none of the above, and then you were just...
And then it would pick something random.
Yeah, exactly. So it was fair, because people didn't like Halo 3's veto system, because everybody would veto and say, please don't be snowbound. Like, it's, you know...
It's so simple. I do not understand how a company can, a game dev for that matter, could mess up so bad on something so little. It's just... It's baby steps here.
Yeah.
Okay? Why aren't these things implemented? Okay, why do we not have these things that would make the experience better for the average user? Why are you guys backtracking and forgetting these things? We didn't even talk about split screen, by the way, but
we'll get there. We'll get there.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all.
And we can just go straight there to split screen then. Like, that was something that, for me, I showed so many of my friends Halo. Because I was one of the first of my group of friends when I was younger to get an Xbox. I had saved up all, like, you know, all the money from, I did a little job, like I delivered milk. So I saved up all that money and my Christmas money and like things like that, and I bought myself an Xbox when I was like, what, 11 or 12 years old after Christmas. And I couldn't wait to get it. There was a bundle with Halo CE and Midtown Madness, and I bought 2 controllers just to make sure that I could play with my friends. Because that was something big. Like, I wasn't just buying this for myself. I was buying this so that I could play and that other people could play with me. Because back then, like, and it's something that people really, they undersell it, that split screen is a really great way of showcasing your game without putting money down. Somebody can get in and find out what the experience is like and determine if they enjoy it or not without spending a dime. So when they do spend money, there's more incentive to say, okay, I really do like this. I'm gonna, really, like, it's...
Yeah, I'm of what you were describing right now. I started playing Halo through split screen. My dad said, hey son, why don't you try this? So I said, okay. I picked up the controller. We were playing campaign. I loved it. Okay. Wow. Then, a couple months later, I find myself winning an Xbox original off of some radio broadcast TV station, whatever. They did a giveaway and I won. I was like, okay, cool. And the first game I bought was Halo. And that's how it started. Without split screen, I might not know what Halo even is right now. I wouldn't be here talking to Roniboney about Halo and how bad it's become. But split screen is a staple feature. It needs to be. You can't I cannot understand 3-4-3. I can't fathom why they do these things. If it was a staple feature in Halos 1 through 4, why would it not be in 5?
Yep.
Why are you not living up to the expectations of your community? You know, exactly. This is something we expect. Okay, it's not like, oh, it's all right. You know, we went without it for Halo Reach, and 2, we don't need it in 5, but we've been with this feature since the very beginning. It's something that helps us sort of, like, I can't even explain it. It's something that is just so coherent with this franchise.
I know.
Why would you take it out?
And from a sales perspective as well, it doesn't make any sense, because if you're really focusing in on selling games, like, I know they want to sell consoles, but somebody getting a free experience of a game to see whether or not they like it is a way of selling your console. And I think it's kind of shady that, you know, Halo 5, in my opinion, is not a very good experience, whereas some people will just buy consoles to play with their friends because they can't get that split screen experience. Like handing the controller to somebody and saying, try this game out, while, you know, you're basically watching them and analyzing how bad they're doing. Like, I mean, that we all do that. You know, if you give your friend a game to say, oh, try it out, and they do badly, you think to yourself, well, they should have done that there, or at least I do. Maybe I'm just an asshole, but like, it's one of those things that it's great for sales. It is great for sales, getting more people playing on the same screen.
Well, I also thought about this, and I've heard this brought up among the community a couple of times, but in terms of sales, you say that split screen is good for sales. Some people say split screen is bad for sales. Some people say not having split screen is better for sales, because then somebody would say, hey, I'm going to buy an Xbox One just so I can play with my friend online, and then they'd buy an Xbox One, they'd buy another copy of Halo 5, and they'd buy Xbox Live. So that's 3 things that they would buy. But I don't really agree with that, because who would go out of their way to play something that isn't even that good? You know what I mean?
If you have $500 lying around the place, go for it. Great. But a lot of people don't. And a lot of people want, like, I mean, look at that. Look at even player numbers there. If you had split screen, the player numbers would be so much higher. Like, so much higher. You're basically giving, like, you know, the game a free population, like, boost every time someone logs in on split screen to play. So it does make no sense. And it's something that if they admit that in Halo 6, they are truly not listening to anyone, and it's like talking to a brick wall.
It's such a letdown. Yeah, it is such a letdown. Me and my girlfriend over winter break were playing Halo MCC, and I was excited. This is our first time playing Halo. We beat Halo campaign.
Cool.
We played Halo 1's campaign on heroic mode. We beat Halo 2, and then, you know, I'm thinking in my head, what happens when we're done with Halo MCC?
Yeah.
We can't play Halo 5 because it has no split screen. And I was playing Halo 5 one time, and she said, hey, can I play Halo 5 with you? And I said, about that. And I told her the whole thing. So, you know, when I got an Xbox 360 and I was big into Halo 3 and Reach, my dad always wanted to play. You know, he'd see me playing Halo 3 online and said, hey, you know, put the other controller in, I'll be out when I'm done smoking. And it was just so cool, you know, playing with my dad every night, just sharing the experience with another person was so special.
It's
and those are memories I'll never forget. Having sleepovers with my best friends, and we come over, we don't go outside and, you know, play basketball and stuff. We come in and play Halo.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're yelling and screaming at each other, and, you know, we're 1v1ing each other, and we'll have a 3-player split free-for-all, and it was just awesome.
I think it's a way of getting better as well when you're playing with your friends. Like, I would never have gotten to a level 40 the first time I got to there in Halo 3 without playing with my friends. Like, we were playing team doubles. We both, like, signed in our Xbox Live accounts onto his Xbox, and we both were, like, we were able to see what was going on in each other's screens, so we got a much better kind of representation of what was going on in the map than we could have if we were just, like, hearing him say, shit, there's somebody over here. Like, if he says that and we're on split screen, all I need to do is look up and see, okay, this is exactly what's going on. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to beat this team. And I think it makes people better. It makes people happier. Like you said, it makes really fond memories. I have such fond memories of 1v1ing people on split screen with, like, literally a box between us. Like, you know, you see those images online of, like, this is how we used to 1v1. I've literally done that, like, with having, like, a cardboard box sellotaped to the screen so you couldn't screen watch.
Oh, you went that far?
Yeah. Oh, I went that. Oh, I went that
far. My dad would scream at me saying, "Stop screen peeking! Stop screen peeking!" We're just laughing, me and my other friend, because like we would screen peek, but it was just great. It was great. You know, I almost wish I could go back to those times and just relive those experiences where everybody's playing together and having fun, and then you could even take it to another level, and you can actually play online with people. Yeah. With the people that you're playing a split screen over. So, you know, people are meeting new people. You say, hey, I'm playing with my girlfriend, and party chat, and the other guy's going, hey, yeah, that's cool. And, you know, they'll bring their girlfriend in, and, you know, it was special.
And like you said, being a big Halo 2 fan that you are, that was one of the main things that attracted more people towards Halo 3. That Halo 2 was this massive, massive multiplayer experience that was not only amazing to look at and to play, but it was so balanced and so large in its scale that you could have people, you know, playing split screen, even 4-player, you know,
absolutely amazing.
You know, it's an absolutely enormous feature that you can't underplay. Like having, like, you see a lot of, everyone knows this who plays Halo. You see a load of guests on the other team, you start laughing because you know that I might have a really easy match, or on the very unlikely circumstance that they're good, you might have a pretty good match where they're all actually communicating properly. But it was something fun in the game. It was a wild card element that, you know, it was fun to see a guest like doing absolutely newbie stuff, and it created some of those chaotic moments with even the physics engine where, you know, guests were like flying around the map or whatever, or they'd like crouch on a trip mine or something and kill themselves. It was just really funny.
That's why, that's exactly why I love Halo 2 so much. It was the first FPS shooter that I played that expanded on community features and the foundation of having people online playing together and going here. You know, they had clan support, for Pete's sake. I don't know why that hasn't returned.
Yeah.
Clan support in game.
Yeah, in game especially. Having the Spartan companies outside it's not the same. It's not. Right.
It's irrelevant. I've been invited to Spartan companies and I joined, and I don't even know what they did. I never got notifications on you know what was going on. But in Halo 2, I was in the KSI clan. You know, I seen there were 73 members, and you know, people were playing all at once. You get custom game lobbies. You're just having endless experiences, endless amounts of fun. And
what's that stand for again?
What, KSI clan?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea, dude.
I was in the KOG, the King Among Gods clan. Like, it was, Jesus, it was great. Like back then, everyone would change their gamer tags.
Yeah, I remember. I was just about to say that they wanted me to change it to like KSI Wpns Grade and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I'll avoid doing that.
But you're right. Like the Spartan companies thing now, like it's. I mean, they do have it in game, so you can invite people on your Spartan company. And I know now the Xbox Live Clubs feature is something that is trying to bring that back on a mass scale.
I'm impressed with the Clubs feature.
Same.
I really like it. Yeah, I've used it a couple times where I'm playing by myself on board, and I'll say, hey, you know, maybe I can find somebody to play Halo with, or you know, team dubs, and you know, that's how you meet new people.
It is,
and it fosters more experiences that I wish 343 would look at those kind of things and kind of implement them into their Halo games. I really don't understand why clan support was dropped in Halo 3 and beyond. Yeah. I wish they would go back to that. Same with proximity chat. I loved proximity chat. Oh
god, that was my favorite feature.
Yeah.
Basically, it was like in social modes, it was cool because you could kind of have like a measure of what the other team were doing. But in ranked, like after the game, like, you know, when you had that like 15 seconds, that for me, everyone says, oh, that's 15 seconds to say good game. For me, that was 15 seconds of shit talk. Where like they would like you'd either talk trash on your own teammate, or like they'd talk trash on you and you give it right back to them. And then I mean, the amount of times I 1v1 people just based on like a 15-second comment that they said to me was, you know, you're Irish, why don't you just go, and it'd cut off and it'd be like, what was he gonna say, that motherfucker? It's like, you know,
and then you invite them and you send them messages and go back and forth, and they just say 1v1 me, and then
MLG version 4 or 5 back then, like Guardian, like come at me, like it's, you know, it was brilliant. And then if you lost, you'd be like, you were cheating, dude, and all this. It was like, people think like that's a toxic environment. No, it was an underground environment. Like back then, you chose what.
Honestly, dude, honestly, that kind of environment made me want to play more, because it was like I always had to prove myself in the game, because I knew people were conscious of how I was doing, and I wanted to show them that I'm better than you.
Yeah, it wasn't about having fun. Like, that wasn't the main kind of like aspect of gaming then. It was saying like, you are the best in the world, prove it.
Doing that was actually fun.
Yes.
That was part of the fun. All right? 343 tried to separate fun and skill when really in older Halo games they were mixed together. It was a culmination of both that let people have the experiences that they had and kept them playing for the time that they played it. I love that about original Halo.
Yeah.
And MCC doesn't even do this to an extent.
No, not at all. No.
At all.
And I wish they did.
That's another reason why I'm so turned off by the MCC. You know, there is no. I think the voice chat is terrible, and you know, it doesn't put you in situations where you can trash talk like that. The game just ends. It puts you back into a lobby with the original people that you were with.
Yeah, you can't even like consistently search. Like, there's no time down to say, okay, you're going to go back into the search now. You have to physically do it every single time.
Yeah.
And I don't care if people saying, oh, it's just a one click of the button. I don't care. If other games do it, and if previous Halo games have done it, why the hell doesn't this one do it?
See, I would even go as far as to saying that for some first-party games, and to get some games like Call of Duty, remember how in Modern Warfare 2 or COD 4, they would ban party chat for certain game modes.
Yeah, for search and destroy and things
I really think certain game modes should ban party chat where you have to be in game chat.
Yeah. Team Slayer. Ranked Team Slayer should do it.
I think that kind of social interaction is so important. I think it's so important that it'd be awesome if they would take it to another level to where, let's say, if you have a mic in, you get maybe extra match bonus or something like that. Try to make people who wouldn't have mics talk more.
If you communicate, I mean, you can still mute people. I'd say, like, you have to keep that feature in
which
there.
Which is why I think some of the excuses people say, well, hey, I don't want to be a part of the toxic environment, this, that, and the third.
Yeah, I don't want to be in with like people like who are getting mad at me for not doing well. Well, you know what? That's what made people better. Like, that's what made people better in Halo. If someone on my team was like, hey, you know, at the bottom of the lobby, like. Back in the day, I was called Radiator 07. They're like, hey, Radiator. It sounds so funny, but Radiator. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? It's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, well, just stay behind my back, man, and stop fucking dying so much. And it's like, okay, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't want this guy getting angry with me, so I can either talk shit, which sometimes I did, or I can just say, or I can acknowledge that, or mute him, or I can acknowledge that this guy's angry because he's trying his ass off and making the right decisions, and he's pointing out that you are making wrong decisions here. Like, you know, when you'd rush up to an objective to try and get like a power weapon, you get immediately killed, and someone would get on the mic and say, how did you not expect somebody to be there? And it's like, that is also teaching you how to play the game. That someone better than you is saying, God, kid, like, how are you not doing this? And it was an environment that, like, do you remember back in the day you could choose like underground, pro, casual, or whatever it was?
I love that. Yeah,
like you could tell, like, if someone was like pro,
for the
it'd be like, okay,
time,
they want to win.
I was family because my dad made my account and he put it on family, and like I'm facing a bunch of people with family accounts just trashing on people. Eventually I put it to like pro or something like that, but
no, I was underground the entire way.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was. Because you could kind of tell what kind of player someone was then. If you saw like underground, you could tell that this person, they're going in to win.
I like the reputation system a lot better.
Yeah,
too. With the 5 stars, and if you know, if they had some slack against them, they had 4.5 stars or 3 stars. That was really cool.
You could tell.
Showed, yeah. Now I don't know. I don't even think you can see rep anymore on Xbox One.
I think that's more of an Xbox problem, really, than a Halo problem. But it added to Halo in such a nice way that.
Yeah, remember, in Halo 3, you can actually go on somebody's service record from the dashboard. You can click their name, and then it'll say Halo 3 service record at the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you could pull it up, see their stats and stuff.
Yep.
And now you got to go online and do all this stuff. When really
you got to type it. You got to type it in, and it's like jump over all these hoops and.
So many areas that 343 and Microsoft have just fell off with the Halo franchise and their IPs. I mean, I could go on and on.
It's just a disconnect between like the actual console and the climate that the console created and the customers that actually played it. It's not now about like it's kind of like, you know, the Japanese, like they put a big emphasis on serving, on service. It's a huge thing, but it doesn't like an honor as well. Like it kind of felt like back in the day that there was honor in Xbox Live and honor with Halo, that people talked crap and everything like that.
Xbox Live was the definitive platform.
It was PlayStation Network. Even though it was free, it could not touch Xbox Live. Back in the day, I had both consoles. I would rather have played on Xbox because
now I'd say that between the two, they're almost even.
Yeah, I mean servers are a lot less stable on PlayStation. That's one thing.
Right.
Back when I first bought my Xbox One, it was like 4 dedicated servers, but we didn't even get that for MCC. They're on player connections. It was meant to be dedicated, but like there's been a lot of lies. There's been a lot of things cut as well from the game. Like Oddball for me that's my favorite game type.
I've actually thought about compiling all the lies that 343 have done since they've taken on this franchise and just putting them in the one video.
Oh,
it'd be hilarious.
Get loads of views, man. That'd go viral.
Hilarious.
Sure. And it would help Halo out as well to kind of dispel some of the lies. People would still debate you.
Didn't Josh Holmes say Halo 5 would have split screen?
At first they did, yeah, and then they backtracked.
Wow.
The July or the August before it released. So basically it was snuck under the radar really, so that people that would have pre-ordered the game and would not really have paid like a lot of attention to it wouldn't really notice until it arrived. I mean, I saw threads in the first week of Halo 5's release saying, like, where the hell's split screen? Like, some people bought, like, the game and had all their friends over and then realized there was no split screen.
Frank O'Connor actually said that he was going to sit down with the community on a forum and explain what happened with the MCC. And
he never did.
He never did.
No.
So, I don't know. The monthly
Late Night made a video on that. That was a good video. I think it's unlisted now. You can't really find it anymore, but yeah, that was a good video.
I honestly think, I know we're getting off topic here, but I think they should make the MCC free at some point.
Yes, to spike player numbers. Hell yes.
Yeah.
God yes, especially for the ranks. My God, all I wanted to do when I bought MCC was play ranked matchmaking. That was the main thing.
With people of my ranks. I remember in Halo 2, if I searched a match and I'm a level 10, I'd face people with level 10s and 11s or 10s and 9s.
Yeah, or maybe a 12 here and there, but that was...
Right.
It was like two up, two down. Like
that'd be at like 5 o'clock in the morning when nobody's playing. Like,
yeah.
Right. And now you get on here, it's okay, I'm facing a level
350s and a level 1.
And I'm only level 2 on team ranked Halo 3 Slayer.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, this is... And it's not fun.
The rich get richer. That's really it.
I don't see how that turns people away, in my opinion, because if you're playing and you're kind of new, or hey, I haven't played Halo in a long time, I'm going to go back to the MCC, it's not a good game to go back to, because when you dive in and first match you're playing against 15s, 20s, you're going to get slaughtered.
Yeah, totally.
You're not going to have fun. You're going to get slaughtered. You're going to go, okay, I'm going to try a different game mode. You're going to get slaughtered in that one. You're going to stop playing ranked altogether, and then you're eventually just going to stop playing the game.
Yeah.
And they need to fix that. There's really no reason, if you're a new player, to play MCC other than the campaign modes. And if you're
the social modes.
Right, if you're a ranked die-hard player, if you like hardcore game modes and you like winning and you like that, the MCC is really going to be a disappointment for you.
Play Counter-Strike. That's what I'd recommend. If you like hardcore competitive gaming, play Counter-Strike.
And I was in denial for so long with that. I would say, come on, dude, with my friend, let's play Team Dubs. And he'd go, no weapons, I'm not playing, because every time we play, we get matched against 30s and 50s. And I say, come on, dude. No. And I finally realized, he's right. Why am I playing this when I'm just going to get slaughtered? And then I get beat so bad, I can't even better myself.
Yep.
That's the problem.
Well, that's the thing. If they were within a few levels of you, like, I think I said it earlier, that, like, it gave you... Because the levels were so like restricted, like you'd only meet people like maybe a level or two above you. Sometimes a little bit more if they searched with friends who had a 50 who were willing to play on that. You would find like more kind of aggressive opponents, but it gave you a chance to consistently get better. Like you improved at a steady pace. Like I think if you got to a level 45 in Lone Wolves in Halo 3, you were able to get to a 50 because you knew how to handle yourself individually. Then you could bring that to a team environment. But until you got to that level, I know a lot of really good players that, you know, they all, you know, really grinded the hell out of Lone Wolves, got to level 45 and above, and that was when they began to become really good at the game. And like they could see like the marked difference in their skill levels from when, you know, they were just, you know, playing Team Slayer, and they couldn't really understand how to maneuver themselves when they were in trouble, like let alone like coordinate with teammates.
I don't know if you remember about the head-to-head mode in Halo 2.
Oh, I remember that, yeah, where there was like a marker on someone's head. I followed Naded and someone else on Waypoint. I just kept refreshing like every 10 minutes to see like who was on top, who was going to get their 50 first. It was between Naded and someone else. So if he's watching that, shout out to Brett Naded.
Yeah, my last point
talks
about Halo needs a renaissance video. I'm not sure how... I'm just going to go ahead and say, like, what, in that video, I basically talk about, and what I mean about Renaissance is revival or rebirth, because that's what the word means. You know, if you look back to the Italian Renaissance, they looked back at the classic works and they built onto those features. And, you know, it's really showed with art, architecture, music, everything. And my argument there was that Halo needed to do that too. And I was sitting in class, it made sense to me, you know, when we went over, because I learned all this in class. It was an Asian perspectives class, and it argued that Asia actually had a renaissance in itself, and it explained that you need to look back to have a renaissance. And then I thought the same thing with Halo. I said, okay, if these people can look back to classic times, like from the Roman Empire and whatever, and, you know, build onto those innovations, then why can't Halo do the same thing? Why can't 343 look back to all the good things, all the great things that Halo did before, and build on those foundations? And I think if 343 can do that, then Halo 6 will be a whopping success. I think if they can say, look, we're going to look back to all the great things that made Halo Halo. We're going to look, okay, you can play elites and matchmaking. We're going to put that in Halo 6. You can keep split screen. We can put that in Halo 6. They're looking back. The ranking system in Halo 2 and 3, we're going to implement that in some sort of way. Okay, we're looking back. The art style, we're going to go back and try to replicate that specific art style that provided mysteriousness and, you know, that sort of thing. We're going to try to put that in Halo 6. The veto system, okay, everything. That's my argument here, is that they have the opportunity to look back at every single thing that Halo did correctly and build on to that. They don't have to scratch that whole foundation and start from scratch, because they have
because they inherit the franchise doesn't mean they have to change everything. It's
right.
If something works, then it works, and it seems respectful to do that. I mean, what really do they have to lose at this point? Really,
nothing. They could only gain. I could see they could only gain, and you know, that's really is all it's about. You know, why aren't 343 building onto the foundation of the franchise? Why are they demolishing it and starting from scratch? And they've done this with Halo 4, Halo 5, and I really don't know at this point. It's such a simple concept.
It is. That's why we make videos, and that's why we act the way we do in our videos and speak the way we do for any of the listeners anyway. That's why, you know, the themes in some of these videos are like, oh, you know, we really want this to happen, and sometimes it comes across as, you know, progressive and kind of we try and motivate you, and then sometimes it comes across as just plain angry, because, you know, depending on your mood that day, you might feel like God damn, why isn't Halo where it should be? Or, you know, come on guys, let's rally together. Because I truly think if we get angry and rally together, because we should be angry. I think we should be angry about what has happened to this franchise. Like, it seems so illogical to me to say that we should be happy about that Halo's even still here. Like, I know Halo Follower did a video about being grateful to be even alive. It's like what the fuck? Like, sweet man. Jesus, like, it's, you know, come on.
I'm shaking my head in shame right now.
Yeah.
That video
like,
is...
Oh, it's too much. Like, it's so out of touch. Like, it is. Like, it's so out of touch with what Halo is.
What if Halo wasn't here to begin with? And I'm like, what are you...
But it is, like, you know, it is. So like, let's, you know, that's the whole, like, argument. Like, what if you were never born? But I was. So, like, you know, like...
About Halo Follower, I think they've really committed suicide.
I think so.
The channel isn't even. It's whatever. You know, I unsubscribed a long time ago, months before that video even came out, and they're nothing.
No,
you know,
it's a downward spiral.
It's sad because they have more influence than channels like me, you, and Favin, and
they have more influence than 343 have, dude. Like
they can. You know? If they spoke about some of the wrongdoings of the Halo franchise, then I think they could help solve some of the problems that have been plaguing the Halo franchise. And the same with Green Skull or Ready Up Live or whatever that whole deal is. You know, I still think they should be able to speak up and say, hey, you know, here's what's wrong. How can we fix it? They shouldn't be kissing 343's ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I think nobody should really be kissing 343's ass about if we have criticisms for the game, no matter if your content is positively themed. You know, it doesn't have to be a negative commentary. It could just be like a neutral kind of like, I really like these things. Like you could mention the pros and then say, but there are these cons. So, like, I'm not much for like, you know, being politically correct all the time. Like, especially about a video game. I think that's, you know, just give your feedback. Do it respectfully as you can, but give your feedback. If it's harsh but still constructive, then still give it. But I think some of the other YouTubers and some of the other guys out there need to, and just regular people out there, if you have a mic and, you know, a way of capturing gameplay, get onto that mic, edit a gameplay, and like just tweet it. Just start tweeting it, or like get it out there. Get your opinions out there. Get your feedback out there. You know, don't think that it's not going to be seen, because I guarantee it will be seen by people.
It will.
And you know, the more that we have people saying that, look, things need to change, the more the company will realize that they have to, because then the themes changes. Like, there's a narrative being spun right now that everything is fine when it's not.
And that's why I think channels like me, you, and Faven and Ackman and the whole sort, I think we need to interact more, sort of combine forces.
I think so as well. Like, everyone else does. Like, the people that enjoy the game are always collabing.
You're so right about that. You know, this is my first collab with another YouTuber.
Yeah, mine too,
when on the other side of things, you have people doing collabs all the time. And you know, why aren't we doing this? We should be trying to spreading our voices as much as possible, trying to make awareness as much as possible. And that's what it all boils down to at the end of the day. So,
yeah. And I'd love to get more discussions, like obviously going on with yourself. I think we've like really
this was great.
This really well.
I had a lot of fun, dude. I was laughing. I was just shaking my head in shame at 343's incompetence. Like, oh man.
I mean,
it's also good. It's also good to it's also good to get things off your chest too. I think that's what it. Yeah, like.
But it's nice to know that you're not crazy. That like it's not just you that's seeing these problems in the game, that feels dispassionately about the problems in the game, because people in general just don't understand, and maybe some of the newer audience don't understand why we have these passions. And if some of them are watching this commentary, I think we've been fair. Like there has been a bit of like, you know, harsh criticism, but I think we're being fair about like the facts around the game and what the game individually meant to each of us, and where it is now, and like what we want it to mean to us, but we can't open up that way about it, because it's just not what it could be.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to think that, you know, I hate the Halo franchise. Some people think I actually do hate Halo. I don't hate Halo. I just want it to do better. And we talked about this earlier in the collab, where, you know, we brought up the fact that criticism can be constructive. And constructive criticism is key to creating a successful product. And, you know, why do you think Amazon lets people review products after they get them?
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, so people can say, should I buy this? You know, or so the company can see, hey, you know, maybe we need to improve upon certain aspects. Our customers are saying that our product keeps falling apart. Let's make it more stable. Let's do this. Let's do that. And that's all that it really boils down to.
Yeah.
And I wish some people would see that, but they don't, and they just assume that because you don't like something, you think it's horrible.
Which isn't true. Yeah.
Right.
This seems like a pretty good place to end it, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to get the last word?
You know, I was just gonna say, building off of the Renaissance video, because it was our original topic. You know, 343 can look back in any area that really you can think of. You know, I thought of tone. If you go into a map on Halo 2 or 3 and you just go by yourself and listen to, you know, the noises and things that are around you, you can hear ambient noises in the background and things that let you know that the world was alive. You know, they could put that in Halo 6. They could put, you know, content. Okay, why can't they look back and say, okay, we're gonna add this game mode, infection, headhunter, this, that, and the third, and put it in Halo 6? And really, it's just about recognizing that you have Bungie's works to look off of. Okay, Bungie did trial and error for you. Bungie figured out what didn't work and what did work, and now you can do the same thing. You can take the franchise from them and say, okay, what works and what doesn't work, and you can put the things that work into Halo 6.
Exactly. Build on that formula. They put so much time and, like, I don't use this word lightly, but soul. I mean, they put themselves into that game, like, fully. They threw themselves fully in, and they'll even admit themselves that they were a bunch of weirdos, but they came together, and, like, they will admit it, and they just really wanted to make the game good for us. And I want Halo to do that again. I want 343 to do better.
You could tell that they actually liked playing their Halo game.
Yeah, they loved it. I loved watching some of the playtests for Halo 3. God, it looked so much fun coming up to the game. I just could not wait to get my claws on that game. It was.
I think Bungie's motto back then was, "We make games we want to play."
Yeah.
And 343's motto would be, "We make games
that you'll pay us for, like, to support." Like, it's
microtransactions and just crap like that.
So. Yeah, I think we've fairly well ironed out here why the Halo franchise needs to take a really steep, you know, it needs to take a different direction. I don't know what I was saying about steep there, but it needs to really take an about turn. It's been too long since we've seen something great, and I think Halo really needs that for its survival, but for the community. Like, we all believed in Halo, that it was one of the greatest franchises, and
it still can be.
Yeah, it still can. Yeah, I still think it can. I genuinely do. I think if we all just, you know, make our, like, it's like a movement. Like, if we all just say no, stop right now, and we do it in a larger degree, and like I said, get more people out there making videos. You know, I want all you guys watching, like, if you have a capture card, a way of recording, seriously, make a video, tweet it at me. I swear to God, I'll retweet it out. I'll mention you in a commentary if I really enjoy it. You know, it's. I'm not gonna hide behind, like, you know, however many subs I have. I don't care. If you make good content, then whatever. Like, if you make really good content, then let's all, like, talk together and make this game better, and let's bring attention to it, because like, Halo deserves it. I've never felt more passionate about a game or pretty much anything in my life than Halo. I can't explain why. Like, in a 2-hour commentary, I can't do it. It's so much more to me than I can put into words.
It's so deep. It's so deep. You can't even explain how much
it formed my character. Like, I can definitely say that. I am who I am because of Halo, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. So let's you know, give the new generation and the old generation that feeling again. That's what we want.
I love it.
So,
All
right. I think we've come to the ending there.
Roniboney.
Oh, no worries, man. Thanks for coming on. Thank you for coming on, dude.
I really enjoyed this discussion, dude.
Yeah, same.
It was great. It was great. At first, I was actually nervous, like, oh crap, you know, and then now I just eased into it, and it's awesome. You know,
it's just a discussion, man. We just gotta just talk openly and just be honest with each other. And
I had so much. I had fun. I'm glad I got to get things off my chest. And wow.
Yeah, awesome. Dude. Peace of mind. Goose fraba. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks for watching.
I'm going to have links to Wpns Grade's channel for sure, and all the little timestamps where we mention our videos and stuff. Those will be throughout the entire video. Timestamps of obviously of where we talked about certain topics and everything. And yeah, just again, thank you for coming on, man. I think we really kind of we broke open the cookie jar here, I think. So hopefully good things come from this. Yeah, man. We got to do this again sometime. You know? Talk about things that, you know, current events with the Halo community and stuff like that. Yeah, potentially have more people on as well. I know there's been a few other YouTubers that have expressed interest to me as well of just having a discussion about the game instead of like everyone coming up with individual topics and like kind of saying, "Hey man," in the comment section, "Good video." It's much easier to break bread and just talk to each other.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye, guys.